Check, 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 check. Welcome. Doing the test. Test. 10 for an okie dokie artichokes. It appears we have some audio. Welcome to the Perfect Love Song, episode 1, brought to you by Coast Caveman.
Music from West Side Story, One Hand, One...
Okay, yeah, just kidding. Left Coast Caveman, Season 3. I'm without my most excellent co-host, Nick Sylvester. Where art thou, sir? You can catch some of our unreleased recordings in the archives of SoundCloud. This is the podcast where we review the triune nature of things: mentality, nutrition, physicality. Left Coast Caveman, your source for primal being, well-being through modern hunting and gathering for better well-being. Modern hunting and gathering products, services, reviews, books to increase your mental capabilities, and workout routines, fitness routines, modalities to increase your level of physical well-being. All of these things we bring to you, but I'm just playing around tonight, trying to figure out how to get with the times and stop recording on my tape decks or my Fostex MR8 from circa 1998, 2000. So I thought I'd go through the origin of things, the genesis, if you will. Left Coast Caveman all started with a song from the Beanies. You can find them on YouTube at Beanies Never Die. Beanies Never Die. B-E-A-N-I-E-S. A band name I received much flack for in high school. However, when it was time to rock the party, they knew who to call. The right kind of parties, that is. Didn't play many fraternities. Although, in retrospect, we should have been more open-minded doing cover songs. And I'm not going to try to nail it here tonight. I'm just going to tell you how it went a little bit. I haven't picked this thing up in a long time. You are wiser, my sanitizer. Look how the skies are made you wanna open your eyes up. I'm just sitting on the dock of a muddy lake, watching my soul fade away. And if she goes far, then I'm hoping I can find her. No matter how you polish it and fix it up, there's still pieces missing. You can do whatever that you wanna do, better find something to believe in. And then I moved on to happier bits. And and a little band called the Barn Swallows. Life is good, doing every little thing I didn't think I could. And oh yeah, it seems to me I'm making my dream into reality, yeah. Oh, the less I hear from you, the more I need to. I find myself living in desperation. The less I hear from you, the more I need to. I find myself living in desperation. Oh, this feeling taking over. Life is almost over. This feeling taking over. Life is almost over, yeah. And if I can't find the truth, I'm running away from you. And if I can't find the truth, I'm running away from you, Lord. You, Lord. You, Lord. And I moved on to some spacier stuff after that. See, it went from Genesis to Exodus. We'll skip through Judges for now. It's a little bit too violent. Clouds in the clouds, in the clouds are where you are now. Oh, in the clouds, in the clouds, in the clouds, where are you now? Where are you now? Where are you now? Wow, 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 wow. And I will be happy for you, no matter what you do. I got something happening to me, yeah. I got something happening to me. I cannot explain, I cannot refrain. I find it quite amazing. Will you be amazing with me? No matter what I do, no matter what I say, I'm changing it today, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it goes way back, way back. Way back in time. Way back in time when I used to read poetry and lay in the grass with members of the opposite gender. And I would crawl in and outside of windows to be sneaky. Which is how I met the love of my life. And today, she puts to bed our child. And I sit in my office dim lit with paintings and pictures. Marilyn Monroe sits behind me. And she was actually Marilyn Monroe one time for Halloween, coincidentally. So let's get into the subject matter of the night. And that is Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. one of those books where in one moment you'll be grinding through your gears, struggling to find a place to really sink your teeth into. And in the next moment, fireworks are exploding and you can't put it down, and it's midnight and you gotta work the next day, and it sounds like a lousy excuse to be foggy-headed. But indeed, that is what happened on the night of June 10th, 2021. Let me put on some reading glasses and I remember seeing my father wear reading glasses and think, what's the deal with that? It's called luxury, not necessity. These little things, like, I just want the words in a book to appear like 14-point font instead of 12 sometimes. I don't know where to begin with this book. And I don't know where to end, nor will I, because I've taken some pretty cool notes on it, and I do intend to discuss it with my comrade and partner in crime and the Left Coast Caveman fellow community member, Nick Sylvester. Let me see if I can find any of those notes on my phone to give a bit of a prequel. Male aggression. You can't idealize instinct out of a society, especially instincts that, in their natural form, are building blocks of society. Aggression makes society work, balanced with love in its many forms. Agape, Eros. I used to know them all. I no longer do. But it would be a valuable subject matter, I assume. Continuing. The counterbalance. I better reread that sentence. Scratch that. Oh. Aggression makes society work, balanced with love in its many forms. The counterbalance and constituent primal building block of society as we know it, having evolved from our most primal form. I lost myself on that. Perhaps Freud can do a better job. In the course of this evolution, society imposed restrictions on these instincts, achieving a delicate balance between happiness and security. The danger we face in modern times is the bastardization of male aggression as a choice or behavior to be avoided, particularly male aggression. I have not edited these notes, so hopefully I won't say anything gets me canceled upon inception. I'm willing to give whoever came up with this radical ideology the benefit of the doubt and say it likely originated from a place of benevolence. However, if one truly understands the origin and value of male aggression and adheres to the same ideology,
Trumpeter Bobby Shue and Company, and
the only logical conclusion is that its promulgation is solely aimed at tearing down the very cells that germinate a well-functioning free society.
all began with what is vocalist Mark Murphy.
I will repeat that. The danger we face in modern times is the bastardization of male aggression as a choice or behavior to be avoided. particularly male aggression. I'm willing to give whoever came up with this radical ideology the benefit of the doubt and say it likely originated from a place of benevolence. However, if one truly understands the origin and value of male aggression and adheres to the same ideology, the only logical conclusion is that its promulgation by this particular individual, I think I was just getting a little bit verbose at the moment, this person and their understanding of male aggression and continuing to adhere to this ideology, in other words, they must be solely aimed at tearing down the very cells that germinate a well-functioning, free society. And here's where I just riff a little bit and probably lose focus. Observe adolescent boys at play. The games they construct centered around advancement and elimination. The aggressor becomes the victor. This all came when I was at my daughter's swim meet, observing young children playing in groups of men, young boys, and female, young girls. Not because it's socially constructed, but because that's what they prefer to do. The girls were doing ballet. Not that boys can't do ballet. And at that age, it would not be beneficial in the hierarchy of boys to do so. But later on in life, it might be. When a more eclectic view of the world manifests itself. It's not our job to impose that eclectic view of the world, more informed, on our children. We should inhibit and encourage most of their natural instincts and curb the ones that will not lead them to a better standing, a better place, bliss, if you will, a better situation in life. This is the vision we have and they don't. It's called parenting. And I'm not the best at that, let me tell you. But hey, I do my best. And I try to learn and I try to get better as I go. We'll talk about that. Parenting. Nuke that as a topic for next time. Sigmund Freud. Is this the page I intended to read? We're soon to find out. The task seems an immense one, and it is natural to feel diffidence in the face of it. But here are such conjectures as I have been able to make. After primal man had discovered that it lay in his own hands, literally, to improve his lot on earth by working, it cannot have been a matter of indifference to him whether another man worked with or against him. The other man acquired the value for him of a fellow worker with whom it was useful to live together. Even earlier in his ape-like prehistory, man had adopted the habit of forming families, and the members of his family were probably his first helpers. One may suppose that the founding of families was connected with the fact that a moment came when the need for genital satisfaction no longer made its appearance like the guest who drops in suddenly and after his departure is heard of no more for a long time. But instinct took up its quarters as a permanent lodger. When this happened, the male acquired a motive for keeping the female, or speaking more generally, his sexual objects, near him, while the female, who did not want to be separated from her helpless young, was obliged in their interest to remain with the stronger male. In this primitive family, one essential feature of civilization is still lacking. The arbitrary will of its head, the father, was unrestricted. In Totem and Taboo, I have tried to show how the way led from this family to the succeeding stage of communal life in the form of bands of brothers. In overpowering their father, the sons had made the discovery that a combination can be stronger than a single individual. The totemic culture is based on the restrictions which the sons had to impose on one another in order to keep this new state of affairs being. It stopped and then it started. Great. Hopefully I got some of that. Now, we continue. The taboo observers were the first right or law. The communal life of human beings had therefore a twofold foundation: the compulsion to work, which was created by external necessity, and the power of love, which made the man unwilling to be deprived of his sexual object, the woman, and made the woman unwilling to be deprived of the part of herself which had been separated off from her, her child. Eros and Anarchy, love and necessity, have become the parents of human civilization too. The first result of civilization was that even a fairly large number of people were now able to live together in a community. Okay, hopefully there were some gems in there worth jotting down. If not, I finally found what I was looking for, and it wasn't a page break or a page inserted inside a page. It's a star. And so here, to wrap up the episode, Season 3, Episode 1, The Perfect Love Song. Reviewing Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. Reading, I should say, not reviewing. I found a star. It runs, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." It is known throughout the world and is undoubtedly older than Christianity, which puts it forward as its proudest claim. Yet it is certainly not very old, even in historical times. Hold on. For the wrap-up, I killed the music. Please join us next time, Left Coast Caveman, where I may or may not have my illustrious host, Nick Sylvester, with me at the Crockett Cave. We're in the Left Coast Cave. These series are triune in nature, as are many wonderful things in life. On this cast, we discuss mindset, nutritional well-being, exercise, fitness, well-being, modalities. All of these things we sum up as modern hunting and gathering these resources readily available to us, whether it's products, recipes, things we put in our body, modalities of movement, and of course literature for a mindset. So join us next time as we might be reviewing. Can't do mindset again, can't read you long segments of Freud, but I did find my spot, and I will wrap up with what I think I was trying to find the whole time. It runs, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. It is known throughout the world and is undoubtedly older than Christianity, which puts it forward as its proudest claim. Yet it is certainly not very old. Even in historical times, it was still stranger. Let me repeat that. It is certainly not very old. Even in historical times, it was still strange to mankind. Let us adopt a naive attitude towards it, as though we were hearing it for the first time. We shall be unable then to suppress a feeling of surprise and bewilderment. Why should we do it? What good will it do us? But above all, how shall we achieve it? How can it be possible? My love is something valuable to me, which I ought not to throw away without reflection. It imposes duty on me for whose fulfillment I must be ready to make sacrifices. If I love someone, he or she must deserve it in some way. I leave out of account the use he may be to me, and also his possible significance for me as a sexual object. For neither of those two things, for neither of these two kinds of relationship comes into question where the precept to love my neighbor is concerned. He deserves it if he is so like me in important ways that I can love him, myself in him. She deserves it if she is so like me in important ways that I can love myself in her. Damn that thing. And he, she deserves it if he is so much more perfect than myself that I can love my ideal of my own self in him. Again, I have to love him if he is my friend's son, since the pain of my friend would feel, if any harm came to him, would also be my pain. I should have to share it. But if he is a stranger to me, and if he cannot attract me by any worth of his own or any significance that he may already have acquired for my emotional life, it will be hard for me to love him. Indeed, I should be wrong to do so, for my love is valued by all my own people as a sign of my preferring them. And it is an injustice to them if I put a stranger on par with them. But if I am to love him with this universal love, merely because he too is an inhabitant of this earth, like an insect, an earthworm, or a grass snake, then I fear that only a small modicum of my love will fall to his share, not by any possibility as much as by the judgment of my reason I am entitled to retain for myself. What is the point of a precept enunciated with so much solemnity if its fulfillment cannot be recommended as reasonable? On closer inspection, I find still further difficulties. Not merely is this stranger in general unworthy of my love, I must honestly confess that he has more claim to my hostility and even my hatred. He seems not to have the least trace of love for me, and shows me not the slightest consideration. If it will do him any good, he has no hesitation in injuring me, nor does he ask himself whether the amount of advantage he gains bears any proportion to the extent of the harm he does to me. Indeed, he need not even obtain an advantage. If he can satisfy any sort of desire by it, he thinks nothing of jeering at me, insulting me, slandering me, and showing me his superior power. And the more secure he feels and the more helpless I am, the more certainly I can expect him to behave like this to me. If he behaves differently, he shows me consideration and forbearance as a stranger. I am ready to treat him in the same way, in any case, and quite apart from any precept. Indeed, if this grandiose commandment had run, "Love thy neighbor as thy neighbor loves thee," I should not take exception to it. And there is a second commandment, which seems to me even more incomprehensible and arouses still stronger opposition in me. It is love thine enemies. If I think it over, however, I see that I am wrong in treating it as a greater imposition. At bottom, it is the same thing. There you have it, folks, hanging it up for the night. This is Left Coast Caveman, Season 3, Episode 1. Modern hunting and gathering for Supreme Being. Increase your mindset. We're all about health and nutrition, the things we put into our body, products, food, recipes, things like that. And of course, fitness modalities, exercise modalities, movement modalities. We bring those to you on this podcast. Hope you enjoyed. Check us out again. Left Coast Caveman. Peace out.